Good afternoon, everyone, and once again, welcome to Walk the Talk Sports. The best sports talk show, south of the Big Apple, east of the city of brotherly love, and once again, we are at Encore in the library. KLVW, once again, Michael and Bill, thank you so much. Okay, and I tell you, we have a lot of sports information to give out today to our villagers. Alex, what do you think?
We got a lot to put out, but I want to share something before we get started with sports.
So, let's go.
First of all, to our good friend Terry and Dawn and all the rest of you Marines that are out there in the village and around the world, happy birthday. Today is the Marine Corps' 247th birthday. Awesome. Also, with that said, obviously we're filming this the day before Veterans Day. So for all of you veterans, you know, Priscilla and I have two son-in-laws, our son who served in the military, myself, and to everybody else out there. I just want to read a little something for you that I found this morning. It just says, America without your soldiers would be like God without his angels. There's nothing nobler than risking your life for your country. I have long believed that sacrifice is the pinnacle of patriotism. This nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is home of the brave. So, happy Veterans Day to all you veterans. Thank you for serving our country and all that you do. Thank you very much.
Alex, thank you for your service.
Now, let's get to some sports.
All right, let's start off with a wrap-up on the baseball season. Houston, once again, proved that they know how to win when it counts. Get down to 2-1. They came back. They even pitched a combined no-hitter against the Phillies. I mean, they are just, you know what? They did it with their starting pitchers that just went 5 or 6 innings. Then came their relief, which is their strength, and of course their closers. So congratulations to the Houston Astros for winning the World Series and MVP. Woo! Okay, Jeremy Pena, who went 10 for 25, batting .400, which is damn good. And he was the first rookie to win MVP honors since 1997. So congratulations once again to Houston and the MVP award winner. Also now, the second season starts, which is the free agency. Talk about still going on with Judge, the Mets with DeGrom. So a lot of names have been thrown around. I mean, as we get closer, I guess, to December, things will start to pick up. But I just want to touch off on, before we get off of baseball, and I'm going to take Alex, my good friend here, and stick up for his San Diego Padres. The American League MVPs were announced last night. American League and National League, I should say. Of course, Aaron Judge was the MVP from the Yankees in the American League. But the National League, which I don't understand, was Goldsmith. Now, he plays for the Cardinals, who have great hitters, and especially their third baseman, Arenado. So both of them have support. They support each other. Not Tatis for the Padres was out, okay? And who's the third baseman?
Machado.
Right. Machado, he did it all by himself. He carried the Padres most of the season. And he didn't even get, what, third place vote? I mean, I don't understand it, but that's the baseball writers. But you know what? What do you think, Alex? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I agree. Obviously, I wanted Manny. I felt that he should have been the front runner.
Because he did it all by himself, man.
Yeah, he really was there for his team. I mean, the Padres, obviously, they got to where they were because of a team effort, but he really stood out.
Yeah.
He took them to
the lineup, yes.
Yeah. he was part of the lineup that really stood out. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm glad that Judge got it on the American side. It gives something for our
local,
and our fans out there. The Murphys and the Kovars of the world that will say that their guy was MVP.
Now the test comes if they can keep their guy.
That's true.
And you read the papers, and John Heyman, who writes for the New York Post, and he's a writer for Major League Baseball. I don't understand how he can come out and say that the Mets have more of a hard time signing DeGrom, re-signing him, than the Yankees have for Judge. And he comes out with the statements, the Mets don't need this. He really criticizes other teams when they go after players that the Yankees are interested in, but when the Yankees go for it, there's no problem. Easy peasy. You know what? And I think that's bias for a writer to write for Major League Baseball, but that's another story in itself. Anything else, Alex, on baseball?
No, but it's done, Rob. It's
it.
It's done. So we'll
turn the page.
We'll wait for spring, and we'll take it off from there.
All right. So now.
But before you get started. No, I just want to pick it up a little. I just want to let everybody know. If you could reach through your TVs and give my friend a hug. He's had a tough day. The other day he went to the driving range and he came home, shoulders were aching. He played a round of golf today. He comes home, he could barely make it into the show here to film. So I reached out, got him some Bengay, a little Geritol. He's going to pep up. Before the end of this show, he's going to be back to the old Rob we know. So just bear with him if he sounds a little bit sluggish. And we're going to move on. I'm going to let Rob have his time. I got a lot to share about local stuff, so there we go.
All right. Well, I'm sure you'll add on to some football news. As you can, really, the three local teams, Giants, Jets, Eagles, I mean, I tell you, they're still the talk of the town. The Eagles are still 8-0, undefeated. The only undefeated team in the NFL. Next week, I think it's Monday night, they play the Washington Commanders. They should win that game. They should be 9-0. The Giants are coming off a bye week, and they play the Texans. And then after that, they play the Lions. And they also played a big game on Thanksgiving against the Cowboys, which should be very interesting. And the Jets. The Jets won a big game last week beating the Bills, and they ran the ball right down their throats. Good game for the Jets. Now they have a bye week this week, and then they go up to New England, which we should have beaten New England the first time. Hopefully we'll have better luck, going up to New England. But I have to say, the Jets are 6-3. They're in the hunt. I mean, who would figure? But, and you want to talk about your West Coast feed?
I'm going to touch on it, but I want to jump back to the Eagles. I was looking at stats today. I mean, that team, I don't know what to think of them. When you start I was looking at running backs. I was looking at top touchdown producers in the National Football League. So the top 4 of them are running backs, and one of them is Jalen Hurts for the most touchdowns in the NFC.
Now, you remember that name from the last show, right? Everyone, Jalen Hurts. Stephanie, my daughter, has him in a fantasy league. This good man, good citizen here, wanted to trade for him. Why would my daughter want to trade him when he's one of the best players in the league this year? Maybe Alex has to call a friend again. Who knows?
Yeah. So, with that said, I'm going to jump right to my Los Angeles Chargers. They did win this weekend. Yes, I'll have the critics say that they squeaked by, but I'll take a squeak by. I'll take a win for a win. Do I think they're struggling? Absolutely. But I'll take those 3-point wins every day if it means we can creep game closer to the Chiefs. We have a big game against them here coming up again. So that'll be a good one.
Is that in 2 weeks, or?
I think it's in 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
So, matter of fact, I believe this Sunday we play the 49ers, and then we play the Chiefs. So
that's a good match. 2 good matchups. Yes. Anything else football?
No, I mean, you look at you nailed it when you talk about the NFC.
Hold on, excuse me. Can I just show this to the audience? Isn't this guy come prepared? Look at this. Bold print. I mean, really. I have to squeeze my eyes here, but look at this guy. Alex, I am impressed.
Thanks, bro.
I am impressed, dude.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
So, no, I was just going to hash out what you were saying. And you're looking at the Minnesota Vikings sitting at 7-1.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have never thought. I mean, they're playing great football.
Yeah.
You know.
They're winning. That's the bottom line.
But I'll give it to you, East Coast folks, you New York Jets and Giants, Eagles. They're playing some great football. So it'll be interesting down towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets have a tough game now. I think they play up in New England after the bye week, and I think they play Buffalo. But, you know, believe it or not, Buffalo is 0-2 in the division so far. They lost to Miami. They lost to us.
Yeah.
And I think they play New England, I want to say, not this week, but I think coming up also. So, look, it's going to, look, for a Jet fan, just make the playoffs. I don't care how far we go, but just make the playoffs. Extend our football season at least into mid-December. I'll be happy. That'll be my Christmas gift from the Jets. Thank you. Okay, football? Go ahead.
No, I mean, the last thing on football. And I don't know for everyone and the folks that have watched the show for the last few weeks, I find it really crazy that my friend, he's really hyping up the Jets. Do you notice that it's been crickets? No,
Raiders. Go ahead. I'll say it. Raiders.
Not a mention of his Las Vegas Raiders. Not a mention. So I'm going to leave it at that. He's going to jump on that Jets bandwagon and ride that. And maybe next year when the Raiders are winning, he'll jump on that bandwagon. There's no closet dressing.
No.
This is closet dressing. So we'll move on. That's a different story.
You hear that, Murph? All right? He's calling me out, Murph.
All right.
But I'll just put it this way. If it came down between the New York Jets or the Las Vegas Raiders, I would root for the New York Jets. Born and bred, a city boy, that's what I would do. So, I mean, but okay, you made your point. You're right. I boast about, what is it? Raiders rule. That was my name.
That's
right?
That's Rob's. Right. That's Rob's fantasy. That's another topic.
I even changed it.
Oh yeah, he did change it. That was his fantasy team. Raiders rule. And then all of a sudden, I see some crazy name change. So obviously,
you run CMC because that's McCaffrey, right?
Obviously, he's jumped the bandwagon on that ship also, and closet dressed himself right into a Jets jersey.
There he goes again. I tell you. All right. Yeah. Now, briefly, after football, I will touch on some hockey and basketball. The NHL season, I guess you could say it's turned upside down, just like in the NFL. The beginning of the NFL season. Teams that were bad last year are on the top tier. Teams that were good last year are on the bottom tier. So, I mean, the Devils are playing great hockey. The Philadelphia Flyers are playing great hockey. So are the New York Islanders. That's for you, John Kovar, for your team. Capitals, Rangers, Penguins, they're in the bottom tier. I mean, I knew the Rangers, and I said it on the past show we had, that it was going to be a little downturn for them because they weren't going to sneak up on anybody this year. And so far, it's been that way. But look, it's still a long season to go, and 16 teams make the playoffs. So there's plenty of teams that make the playoffs, and hopefully the Rangers will be one of them. Okay, you want to start on basketball with your...
I mean, I just have a little blurb.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I want to finish up. I have quite a bit of a topic when it comes to local sports.
Okay.
Being high school, we got a little stuff I'd like to share. But I will touch. I had a little shout out this morning. Obviously, you know, my sister who lives in Arizona, she had an opportunity to visit one of the shows we did here. So she knew that we were filming today. So obviously, I get a text message at 8 in the morning. So I had to been 6 in Phoenix. Just a little shout out, like, hey, how about those first place
Phoenix
Suns?
So
yeah, so a little shout out to her and the Phoenix Suns. It's early in the year. They're 8-3. I think they're ahead on the Pacific Conference. So that's
all right. I mean, I'll just touch briefly on the Knicks, the Nets, the 76ers. You know, I don't know what it is. I mean, no matter how good the Knicks are playing, when they go up against the Brooklyn Nets, I don't know what happens. They just fall apart. I thought they would play a better game last night or 2 nights ago. They got blown out by, I think, 15 points or so. I mean, they're still ahead of the Nets. But, you know, I can't, you know, the Nets play terrible against everybody else. But when it comes to the Knicks, they're like all superstars and they can't lose. The top dog, of course, in the Eastern Division is still the Boston Celtics. The 76ers are playing a little bit better basketball, but just like the NHL season. Look, we're only, a month and a half into the season, so there's a lot of basketball and hockey to be played. Okay, Alex, anything else as far as basketball? All right. So you want to touch on college? Oh, you know what? I am going to talk about, because there's something big starting in 2 weeks. It is the World Cup in soccer, which is going to be played in, I guess, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, which when I first saw the schedule in the TV, I said, why are they playing in November? But I guess maybe because of the weather, that side of the world, who knows? But it starts the 20th of November and it goes all the way up to almost a month, to December 18th. The favorites to win the World Cup, I think, is Brazil and Belgium. Those 2 teams, they figure they're going to make it to the finals, but then again, you never know. I'm very disappointed. My origin country, Italy, did not qualify, even though they won the Euro Cup maybe a year or 2 years ago, which I thought they would qualify them automatically, but it didn't happen. So, but still, exciting soccer to come down for our English fans, for, you know, the Spanish, the Spain, Madrids. It's going to be very exciting coming down, and it's all going to be on TV. You know, it's going to be 24/7 soccer, which is great. I'll just touch base on the English, Italian League. In the Premier League, Arsenal is in first place, followed by Manchester City, Newcastle, Tottenham, and Manchester United. In the Italian League, Serie A, it's Naples, my favorite team, Napoli. AC Milan is second, Lazio is third, Atalanta is fourth, followed by Juventus is fifth. So, and then I'll just briefly touch on the Spanish League. First place team is Barcelona, followed by Real Madrid, followed by the Atlantic Club, which I don't know what that is, and the Atlantic Madrid, and Posto Risso, or whatever that is, but they're in fifth place. That is the wrap on soccer. Please, if any soccer fans, give us information on the World Cup. Send us an email. We would like to discuss it with you, because it is the biggest event as far as they call it football in Europe and throughout the world, because we think we're the top dogs. You don't know. When it comes to soccer, those fans are really off their rocker, and it's exciting. Okay, so that is soccer. Anything else?
Nope.
Good?
We're going to jump into college AP.
Yes.
So this week, you're looking at your number 1 team in the country for college football is the Georgia Bulldogs, followed by Ohio State. And Michigan moved up to number 3. Number 4 is TCU is sitting at number 4. You know what? They're actually a fun school to watch. When Priscilla and I were living in Texas for a while, I enjoyed watching.
That's Texas Christian University. Right.
So great. So it's awesome to see them.
They're 9-0. Wow.
Yeah, up to number 4, and then of course my Tennessee Volunteers, unfortunately, after the loss to Georgia, dropped down to number 5. But I'm okay with that. You know, the way that, like we talked in a couple shows ago, the structure of the college playoffs, I don't have any doubt that they'll be in there. That's okay. I'll let them work their way back up.
You know, Alex, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I have it just jotted down here, like the 12 teams format. I mean, there's 12 teams that are going to make the college bowls, and matchups are going to be exciting, you know, and that's why there's more of a chance for schools to get in, you know, and they're going to play to the end, which is, I can't wait till that starts, you know. I mean, it is winding down the college regular season, but once the bowls start, man, watch out. It's going to be must-see TV. So that is college football. Basketball, I'll just briefly name it. I mean, it just started. In the Big East, St. John's is 1-0, Villanova is 1-0, UConn is 1-0, and yesterday Seton Hall beat Monmouth University, they're 1-0. And in the Big Ten, once again, everybody's 1-0. Rutgers, Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana. So it's too early. I mean, they don't start playing their own conference, I think, until mid-December. That's when it gets interesting. That's when your teams get into their conference and they start climbing the ladder and get really ranked the way they should get ranked. And that's college basketball.
There you go.
Okay.
So what I do have, and I know that we briefly started it like the last show, and I promise for those folks out there, because I know they're going to come at me, that next season we'll cover this weekly. Yeah. We just happened to jump on the bandwagon towards the end, but I'm speaking of NASCAR. So for all you NASCAR fans, the season ended last week in Arizona at the Phoenix Raceway. And the Joey Logano was the NASCAR champion this year. He won Phoenix last week, and he also was the overall series champion of the year.
Now, so Alex, does that work on points?
It is a point structure.
Like they do in golf, like a point
Correct.
structure. Okay.
Correct.
Okay,
so,
that's good.
So he was the number one. Obviously he won because of his points, but he also won that race last week. And that's NASCAR for now. We'll kick back up next season when it starts back up, and we promise to follow it a little bit more regular with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
I know you're not going to forget this last topic, that's for sure.
No, I'll save that for last. So what I do want to run through, and I'll run through some of the little stuff real quick, because there's an athlete I just wanted to share. I was reading about him and look a little bit this morning, but I want to talk a little bit about high school sports. I know we've covered football from Manchester to Jackson. I will let you know how their season ended, but I want to talk about some highlights. Jackson Liberty, their girls volleyball team, they just, if it was like last night or the night before, they played for the sectional title, and unfortunately they lost to Pleasantville, and that was girls volleyball from Jacksonville. Was
gotcha.
That the football clubs from Manchester and Jackson? We spoke of it earlier. I think last week their seasons ended not the greatest in the world, but Jackson Liberty finished at a 4-6, and Manchester actually finished at 3-7. They actually won their last game.
Oh, okay, good. That's good to hear.
So the only other shout outs I want to put out there are some local schools real quick. Saturday, it's a quarterfinal game. You have Donovan Catholic is playing Bergen Catholic.
Yes,
I believe right. Bergen Catholic is the top rated school in the state right now. It's the #1 school. So that should be an exciting thing. But what's really exciting is we talk about Toms River in our general area. So tomorrow night, state championship, Toms River North versus Kingsway. So Toms River North is sitting at 11-0.
So this is for
their division. That it's a state championship tomorrow night. So
that's awesome.
So with that, I just want to share. I found it unreal is that I was reading this and I was starting to wonder, are we back in Texas? When Priscilla and I were following high school football in Texas, these clubs and these kids were ginormous. So Toms River North, they have a young man, Micah Ford. He's their quarterback. He's their quarterback only because their quarterback got injured. He's actually a running back, a junior. He's already gotten letters from Maryland, West Virginia, Rutgers.
Man, they can use a quarterback.
This young man is 6 foot, 215 pounds. In passing, now he's a running back. So passing this year, 49 for 76, over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Rushed from the quarterback position, rushing for over 1,600 yards with 25 touchdowns. I mean, this Toms River North team, they've beat every team this year by over 40 points. Except for their first game of the year, they won. I think they won by 7. After that, they went on a tear. They were beating teams 70-3, 50 to whatever.
You know what? It's a good program because we have a gentleman that lives here in the village. He was the band leader for Toms River North for so many years, Frank Hughes, and they used to get invited. And I'm just talking about the band. They used to get invited to the Cotton Bowl not once but twice. For your school's band to get invited to a major bowl game, that is awesome. And he used to tell me these kids, as far as the football program, over the top.
And you'll see, Tom's River North, they are. When I look, their roster, probably 50 to 60% of their kids are sophomore or juniors. They have 2 sophomore linemen that are 6'7", 300 pounds.
And you said this kid that stepped in as quarterback is what, a sophomore?
Junior. So,
you got one more year.
Unreal. The athletes and the talent that's out there right here in our backyard right there.
And Rutgers can't grab these kids. Why? Because program-wise, they have to work on that.
Yeah. Rutgers is on this kid's list, so we'll see.
I hope so. I hope so. He puts that hat on draft day. That's true.
So the last thing I want to touch on is, obviously we've talked about it every week, is LVW Fantasy Football 2022. So just so the folks know out there, obviously we have a fantasy football league here in the village. I'll just run down real quick in the Eastern Division. You have Team Sam Cobra sitting at 8-1. Oh, Sam. The second place team sitting at 6-3. Bossa Nova. That's me. Sitting tight for last place are both the Lombardos. Stephanie Lombardo and Robert Lombardo are tied for last place in the East Division. On the West Division, we have Joseph Sheed sitting at 5-4, and then you have Vinny sitting at 4-5. The Peterson, David, the Giant Peterson, sitting at 4-5. Then in last place, but climbing is our friend Frank Lepore. He's won 2, 3 in a row or something like that. He's right. He's the same record as the Lombardos. And I made a comment out there. If Frank catches and beats either of them and they end up in last place, do I ever have something special for them? So I'm hoping that Frank will keep the momentum going. And one of those Lombardos, preferably, will drop.
All I have to say to that, folks, is I may be down, but I'm not out. I may be down, but I'm not out. We'll see. We still got some football to play. All right. Okay.
So that's all I got, brother.
That's a wrap.
I probably need to, when we're done here, I'll rub some more Bengay on you. But go ahead. What do you got?
God. Once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. KLVW-TV, great job. Mike, Bill, I'll say it again, over the top. And for all you sports fans out there, remember this. Keep it between the lines.